Have you ever wondered how you would manage with your meager monitoring and evaluation budget? While adequately funding M&E activities should always be a priority, adequate M&E funding is not always a reality. My name is Grace Awantang, and in this video, I will share 4 simple tips on how to save yourself some money on your M&E activities based on my experience in international public health and development. These tips apply whether you are planning M&E activities for an upcoming project or whether you're assessing the performance of a project that has already started. I'll start with a common situation that often arises after we have collected monitoring or evaluation data. Despite our best efforts to collect meaningful data, most of us have ended up in a situation in which our insights come from a subset of data, but that the majority of the data is either overwhelming or less helpful. This situation is particularly likely to arise if we haven't spent sufficient time thinking about what information specifically we will be using for making mid-course corrections or for identifying promising activities. Although it has become somewhat of a cliche, focusing in on what drives decisions really is a hallmark of quality M&E. Oftentimes, we have gigantic indicator tables, extensive logic frameworks, reams of coded transcripts, and every disaggregate under the sun. But not all that data is equally valuable. It doesn't all tell us what is working well in a program and what is not. In order to focus on what actually drives decisions, consider using your program's theory of change. A theory of change outlines the underlying logic of a program by tracing how the inputs you invest and the activities or policies you implement contribute to the intended or observed impacts. Theories of change provide a great visual way to clearly map out and examine what you'll need to learn, and as a consequence, what you'll need to collect data on. If the program you are monitoring and evaluating has an existing theory of change, consider using it as a jumping-off point for discussions on which outcomes might be most important to examine, what assumptions might be most in need of testing, and what contextual factors might have helped or hindered the ability of activities to bring about the desired results or outcomes. A discussion with stakeholders can help you figure out what questions should guide your data collection activities. Remember, focus demands sacrifice, and often less indicators. You won't be able to capture everything. What is key here is to only collect what you will use later on. My second tip relates to making use of what you have. Oftentimes, when monitoring or evaluating a project, we forget to look at the existing resources that might be available. This cartoon demonstrates how important it can be to use what is available to you when facing a challenge. In the context of M&E, this often means using publicly available data or requesting data from others. Have you mined publicly available data sources for all that they are worth? Is there a demographic health survey or DHS dataset that you can download and analyze to answer some of your questions? Unfortunately, multiple partners often end up collecting the same information, either because they are unaware that they are doing so or because of proprietary concerns related to the data. However, you may be lucky enough to have stakeholders and partners that are willing to share information and have already collected data. If a partner is doing similar work, you may also approach them about pooling resources in order to collect data together. Moving on to my third tip. There are a lot of free or almost free software options out there that might work for your M&E activities. Sometimes the existing software you have, such as Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, in combination with their associated mobile applications, may be more than sufficient for your data collection needs. A different video will delve more into detail on the pros and cons of using open source software. For now, consider that because of the widespread use of Microsoft Excel, using a product like that or Google Sheets can often lessen the learning curve for staff while letting you maintain the benefits of having a real-time data platform that permits multiple users to work simultaneously on the same document. If you don't have sensitive or personally identifiable information, consider using open source or free software platforms to save on the cost of data collection and management. The fourth and final tip is to collect some of the data that you might need yourself instead of hiring someone else to do so. Consider what skills you have in-house that can be redirected, even if just temporarily, for M&E activities. Depending on the skill sets you already have available within your organization, the nature of the information needed, and the nature of the information needed, your staff may be able to perform data entry, build and launch online surveys, or recruit participants for M&E activities. Never underestimate the importance of having strong M&E capacity within your organization. Leading more of the M&E work yourself means you will not have to pay someone else to do it. I hope you have enjoyed these 4 tips. Please join our online discussion at springboardforsbc.org to share your tips on how to plan and implement M&E on a budget.